Hey everybody, it's me, Mrreeeee, coming in for another video. Today we're looking at protection warriors and tips and tricks. Now, I've been playing warrior for 2 weeks, and I got 2.3 KIO on my protection warrior, and that's in minimal gameplay. I know it's flavor of the month, and I picked it because of that, and it absolutely busts down the door as a tank, and I recommend if anybody playing tank right now, pick it up, and it's so easy to gear and it's so easy to play. I'm hoping this week to get 2.5. Like, it's pretty much the same eye level as my druid, and I've done the same amount of time just because how OP it is. So first of all, if any new people come and check this video out, my goal is just to help people like myself who like to play multiple classes and give you the most simplistic understanding of what I know and understand the talents, the tips and tricks to best get you to this stage. Like, I've tanked 19s, 18s, like I'm not at the level for the next tier up, and I wouldn't recommend watching if you're going to try and push the next level, but I have a pretty good understanding. I feel like being able to achieve over the 2k and heading into the 2.5k rating. So hopefully this helps for new beginners picking up warrior, and like all my guides, my goal is just to help you and answer any questions and grow and develop with you. So here it is. The first thing we'll have a look at is what I can tell you with gear wise. For stats, haste is your top. So all the top warriors I looked at are stacking haste, and then versatility, of course, for damage and healing done. It even stinks one of the talents we look at later with stacks on haste, but the quicker you can rotate through getting shield slams, the quicker rage regen you can get, the quicker you can up time on your ignore pain, damage, the quicker the haste, the more you're maintaining shield block, which is your bigger damage reduction. So this is why I maintain and love, we like getting haste first and verse, and then damage and everything else. So pretty much all your trinkets going to be haste and verse. I've already luckily picked up the chilled signet of Melodranus, the attack, and of course the Wind Scar Wet Scone for damage. I think the other real best trinket you're really looking for on a warrior, and I'm still looking for a Vaulted Incarnate because I haven't really rated on this tune. Comes from this Declaration of Flame is really good to have as a main tank. So people have this flame here, and then Whetstone or the Ruby, Rumbling Ruby at a higher level, but this is a really good mitigation and damage for keys. So that's your stats. You're looking for haste first, and sometimes I do sim. There is a twice strike, which I haven't got yet. Main hand weapon you can get from the Kud, and of course the Lariat, and then your tier is really nice with your Revenge and your Ignore Pain. So I'm running 2 set. I've only got 2 set on this warrior, and we're already at 2.3 KIO. Like, what an incredible class. Talents. So I've based my builds on a few dungeons, like looking at some of the different mitigations and what people use. I'll come and give you a quick look at the talent tree here for warriors and what people are using in M+ and how they're swapping between the different dungeons. So this build here, we're starting with Shadow Moon, Court, Academy, and Azure Vaults. This is the standard build across all of them. And I think what really changes, and what I've seen, the minute changes, okay, really important on your warrior tree, I think Shockwave, like Sphere of Ash can give more damage, but Shockwave is such an incredible cooldown. 40 seconds, instant stun. I use it all the time through my interrupts, and I can just call Shockwave, bam, and I'm stunning as many, it says all enemies in 10 yards. A huge AoE stun, I think it's a must-have. If you take that off, the only time you aren't pulling as big and you don't need that is you swap it for Uproar. So I see these talents swapping around, and that reduces the cooldown of Thunderous Roar. And I guess really that is to help generate and bleed. Like if you're popping every 30 seconds to help generate rage. So I think a lot more warriors, either A, your comp already has a lot of AoE stun you don't need, or the dungeon. Okay, you're not seeing many big enough pulls to value that the Thunderous Roar is better, because the Thunderous Roar is doing more damage, first of all, and is also adding the bleed for damage and generating you that rage, right? Quicker than the 40-second cooldown. So I do see these talents swapping a bit back and forth. Otherwise, pretty much this build is staying pretty much similar for most classes. I think Stormbolt's really good to have. It's a massive 4-second stun at M+. Your auto attacks, having 20% held weapons. Again, with the build, you can run with Battering Ram and increase your attack speed. And the double strike weapon, like free auto attack speed, is so important for your damage. I think that some classes do pick up Intimidating Shout here in some dungeons. Again, it comes down, I guess, can you run Uproar? Do you need Intimidating? How much mitigation do you need to have? I mean, it's not a damage screen increase. So a lot of, when I'm looking at tanks on the top side of prop warriors, they want to improve damage. Like CC, okay, is good. But if I can have classes that already CC, I don't need to go into that. So they leave that. I think here, instead of Crushing Force, for that 10% increased damage, if you're feeling like you need a bit more survivability, Pain and Gain, I've seen a couple of warriors pick that up. Otherwise, it's pretty. I think there's over here. I don't know if it's on this side. I think there's a challenge chance over here. That's pretty much pretty standard across the board. Across, I think, these standard abilities. You're really trying to increase your damage, your shockwave. Avatar is just in a massive cooldown that you get to reduce, and you just do insane damage with Avatar. I think it's such a great ability. You just pop off and start popping off your damage. This is really the standard protective. I'd like to get better at swapping between battle stances. Impending Victory, massive way to top yourself up if you come in between shield blocks and ignore. Thunderclap, Blood and Thunder. This is like the best talent that applies rendering to all targets. A must take. That's a pretty much standard tree you'll find across with those little changes. On the protection point, again, this is pretty standard across most warriors I'm seeing. Things you can change on lower keys if you want to do more damage. You heal by damage dealt by with deep wounds, can swap by fuel by violence for more consistent. But I think you're going to swap to the damage deals to active ignore and brutal eye fatality once you start to pick up that 4 set. So I think pre-4 set, you probably go fuel by violence. You pick up 4 set, the damage increase from brutal vitality, because your 4 set is from your revenge, you're getting a percentage to ignore pain, and so you want that free, because it's always active, this becomes brutal vitality, becomes more of a bonus. I think this is more an offensive, again, talent tree. If you were trying to go more defenses here, I think you can pick up Tough as Nails to help generate threat and deal basic damage instead of picking up deep wounds. Or I do see, and this is the changes into why I have Ruby and I have Jade, they actually pick up spell block here. And I think Ruby, if in Temple of the Jade, you want to pick up spell to block those spell damage. High keys that you take a lot of spell damage, you need a talent to spell block. That's kind of the swap there you see. High Tyrannical weeks, you can look into Punish. I think it's totally worth in a Tyrannical week picking up Punish. That's a 9% damage reduction from the boss that you can just pick up and is totally worth. So if you're feeling like you're getting trucked, Punish is another one that flexes in and out. And on the left side of the tree here, what really happens is Show of Force. Again, Revenge does increase damage. I wouldn't be picking this up until you have Tear, right? If you have Tear, you're going to be using a Revenge a lot more and getting that silent mitigation. Otherwise, I'd be looking at Thunderlord. So this is your, again, that minute changes players are doing. They pick up Thunderlord here to get the reduced cooldown on their Booming Shout, which challenges the outburst of Demoralizing Shout. So that swaps in and out. And therefore, you can decide where you want to go on these two talents. And then some bosses, Disrupting Shout, it can be really good. I know on Akuta Fence, when you have the 4 casters and the end boss, that's an instant boom, all cast interrupt. So on cast places, Ruby, whatever, Disruptive Shout could be a good one you could talent into. For example, I like to take Battering Ram for that extra damage, but I could swap out for Disruptive Shout here for that extra mitigation for my keys. I think also here on this side of the talent tree, Battle Scarred Veteran, again, you could take one out of Bloodmorn and bring up, it's you to test out here, right? This is an offensive build. And if I'm struggling to push keys, I'm going to look back to more defensive talents. And Battle Scar's there, so when you're below this, you take 80% damage every 180 seconds. But if you can maintain your health, you actually don't drop that much down if you maintain shield. So I think that is very important to think about when you're choosing your talents. Not much really changes across the board here. Picking up red for your Blunder Thunder. Demoralizing Shout and Booming Voice is just like a must, so... where's Booming Voice? Booming Voice is here, I was hovering before. Demoralizing Shout also grants 30 radiant, increases the damage you deal to effective targets, and that's really what you're looking at here with your class. This is, like, it's so simple. So I'm gonna, first of all, I'm probably gonna Avatar, I'm gonna charge into the mobs, I'm gonna Shout, pop my Runestone, and then I'm gonna Blood and Thunder and rend everybody. Okay? I'm then gonna bring the uptime to my shield, and just start Revenge spamming. Revenge and Shield Slam. This is it, right? Okay. Oh, you can see here I'm tracking my shield block. So I want to maintain this. And the other thing as well is Shield Charge reapplies it. And I'm going back to Shield Slam, reapplying my Thunder Dots. My shield's doing low, I'm going to bring that up. Shout for damage and reduction. And keep reblowing. Now, you see here I'm also tracking my Ignore Pain. So what I want to do is I want to keep that Ignore Pain at 120. Anything over that, it's just capping, right? So I'm not taking damage because it's a dummy, but the idea is that I maintain that Ignore Pain buff as much as I can. Yeah, that's like my mitigation. I don't want to go over, it caps out. So I just want to sit there and make sure I'm resetting in between my Shield Slams, but always keeping 100% uptime on my block. So here, I'm going to not get my block up here. gonna be pretty tight actually. Oh, there we go, reset it. Back to shield clam, roar it out. And while I was doing this, Ravager and Thunderous Roar, they're off cooldown, I rebuff everybody. Okay, that's really much it. That's all Prot Warriors are. Okay, I'm gonna take big damage, I'm gonna target Last Stand on a debuff while doing the same rotation. Okay, the mobs are hitting me pretty hard at the moment, so I'm just gonna, every time I lose Ignore Pain, I'm just gonna now go Shield Slam into Ignore Pain to maintain that Ignore buff. Magic damage coming out, I'm gonna Spell Reflect, I'm gonna Shout, oh, another big cooldown, I'm gonna Shield Wall, and here we go again. So like, it's a very easy rotation, and I recommend like anybody looking to tank an M+, you go with a Prot Warrior. So I think hopefully you guys, this helps you out in understanding really the basic trips of a warrior. It's not much at all, and you can pick it up and you can get the keys, no worries. So yeah. Any questions or any comments you'd like to add, please put in the comments below, and yeah. Good luck, and I'll see you in the future. I've been Mrreeeee. Thanks for the sub, follows, and likes. Peace out.